What if the first builders on Earth lived nearly 500,000 years before our own species existed? Deep beside a river in present-day Zambia, archaeologists found two enormous logs locked together by a carefully cut joint. At first, they looked like ordinary fallen trees, but one log had been shaped with a deep notch. The other had been narrowed to pass through it. This was not random damage. It was a connection, a design, a structure, and it may change what we think we know about the earliest humans. This place is Kalambo Falls, near one of Africa's most dramatic waterfalls. Today, the landscape is filled with rushing water, dense woodland, and wet ground. Nearly 476,000 years ago, that same river preserved something almost impossible: wood. Most evidence from the distant past is made of stone, because wood usually disappears. It rots, burns, breaks apart, and returns to the earth. But here, waterlogged sediment sealed the timber away from oxygen. For almost 500,000 years, the river kept a secret. When archaeologists uncovered it, they found two interlocking trunks. The upper log had a wide U-shaped notch cut across its body. Beneath it, another trunk passed through the opening at an angle. Marks on the wood showed deliberate shaping, scraping, cutting, repeated work. Someone had looked at two heavy trees and imagined that they could become one stable object. But why? That is the question no one can answer with certainty. The logs may have formed a raised platform above the wet ground. They may have been part of a walkway through mud and shallow water. They may have supported a shelter or created a dry place to work, rest, store food, or keep firewood above the floodplain. The full structure is gone. Only this extraordinary joint remains. Yet even this small surviving piece reveals something remarkable. The people who made it were not simply reacting to nature. They were reshaping it. They had to choose suitable trees, cut or break them free, move their weight across difficult ground, and shape the wood with stone tools. They likely used Acheulean hand axes, stone cleavers, and sharp flakes. No metal blades, no saws, no ropes made in factories, no measured blueprint, just stone, timber, experience, and a shared idea. Carving a notch into a wet log is slow work. Each strike must be controlled. Cut too little and the other trunk will not fit. Cut too deeply and the wood can weaken or split. The builders needed to understand the material in front of them, the grain of the wood, the force of a blow, the balance of a trunk, and the exact place where two pieces could lock together. Then came the hardest moment: lifting the shaped log, turning it, aligning it, lowering it into place. One person could not do this alone. The structure suggests cooperation, communication, and planning. It suggests that these early humans could work toward a result that did not yet exist. Kalambo Falls was not an empty wilderness, crossed by people who never stopped moving. The river offered fresh water. The woodland offered timber, plants, and shelter. The wet landscape may have encouraged people to improve the ground beneath their feet. If they returned to this place again and again, they may have chosen to invest effort here, not because they had cities or farms, but because this place mattered. The discovery also forces us to question the name Stone Age. Stone is what survives, but stone may not have been the most important material in daily life. Wood could have been everywhere: digging sticks, wedges, handles, hunting tools, platforms, shelters, and structures we will never find because time erased them. At Kalambo Falls, time failed to erase one of them. Other wooden objects were also found at the site from later periods: a wedge, a digging stick, a shaped log, and a notched branch. Together, they reveal a hidden tradition of woodworking, far older than anyone expected. We do not know exactly who built the interlocking logs. No hominin remains were found with the structure. We do not know their names, their language, or the stories they told beside the river. But we know they had hands capable of shaping wood, minds capable of planning, and a reason to build something meant to stay in place. 2 logs, 1 notch. One idea powerful enough to survive nearly 500,000 years. Maybe the earliest builders were not the people we expected. Maybe the beginning of architecture was not a house, a temple, or a city. Maybe it began here, beside a river in Zambia, when someone looked at a tree and saw more than wood.